But every foul is not a yellow card. But anyway, that's another suspension for them. Yeah.
All right, so a 6-goal thriller, we can call it, I suppose, but Barcelona, more importantly, get the 3 points. And let's just show you exactly what that means for them. It means that after their rivals, Real Madrid, drop points today to Rayo Vallecano, Barca now move within 3 points of the Madrid side. Let's welcome in our Luis Garcia for this one. Luis, thoughts on the victory? Of course, it left a little bit of a bitter taste in our mouth seeing Frankie de Jong sent off there. But in the end, we knew it was going to be difficult. We knew it was going to be entertaining, but Barca got the job done.
Yeah, exactly. It was about getting those 3 points and get closer to Real Madrid on the top of the league. It started well. I think that Barcelona did what they had to do in the first 45, but we knew that that high line was going to cost them something. I think that too many mistakes, and only on the pressing, the wide areas, they were struggling so much, arriving to the player on the ball, and then that was causing them that they could have time to place the ball where they have to on the fantastic runs from the midfielders of Celta Vigo, doing Borja Iglesias a great job holding the ball, laying off, and allow Celta Vigo's runners. And in the second half, I don't know what happened with Celta Vigo, because when you play against Barcelona, you need to understand that for 90 minutes, you have to do 100% everything that you need to do. And the moment that you give them 10 minutes, you're going to give away everything that you've done, all the work that you have done. So they decided to drop down, sit deep. I know there was a massive effort in the first 45, all those runs, long runs from the back to the front to try to get those goals. But in the end, that was giving to the dominance to Barcelona, that they felt the control. They started making the possession longer and longer, and in the end, in a set pieces, arrived that last goal. So I think that great job from Barcelona, and not that we were expecting. We've been trying to see this Barcelona a little bit more solid at the back, but in the end, it was again about keeping the momentum, getting another 3 points. And that big blow of Frankie de Jong that is not going to be available for Athletic Club de Bilbao, one of the toughest teams of the season.
Well, I just wanted to touch on that, because when we were coming on air, I said to the producer, I don't like this referee. And he said, just tell me a referee you like. That's going to be a shorter list. Yeah. And it is difficult because, well, that is a big call, because Pedri's already out. Casado picked up an injury in the warm-up. And now Frankie de Jong is going to be suspended. And it's consistency. Now, you could argue till the cows come home, he stood on him and should have had a yellow card. Not every challenge is a yellow card. I'll give you an example. I don't know if Luis remembers this. The first half of this game, Borja Iglesias had a hold of Frankie de Jong like a rugby game for about 10 seconds. Just held him back and stopped him on his tracks. He did not book him. That's what yellow cards are for. They're for clear and obvious fouls like that are just not even attempting to play the ball, and challenges that are rash and really, really late. It's not for just a little stand on the toe when you're trying to poke the ball away. So it's the inconsistencies within the referees. This referee in particular, we see him a lot. And I think he is very inconsistent in his decision-making. That being said, what we saw from Barcelona today again is not going to fill you full of confidence in terms of their defence. Although they did take the sting out of the game in the second half. And Celta Vigo, as Luis said, stopped doing all the things that were productive for them in the first half. And that was getting forward with pace and playing it in behind quickly with those little 1-2s. Barcelona did a better job of thwarting that. Obviously, the Lewandowski hat-trick is a great boost for him, because, he's not getting any younger, but it never sort of leaves you. But I think as we go along in this season, we're not going to stop talking about what they were doing. As Stevie said, after the Club Brugge game, to come out, take the lead, and then do that on the halfway line again as quickly as they did. So he comes inside Marcus Rashford on the first one, and he plays this great ball in. And then the fullback, who I think got the hook at half-time, got subbed. The fullback then's thinking, I can't let him come in his right foot and whip it in for Lewandowski again. So he steps in, and Rashford takes him on the outside for the Yamal goal just at half-time. So Rashford really had that full-back on toast today, and that was a big problem for Celta Vigo, whereas Yamal on the other side, particularly in the first half, was a lot quieter. In terms of Lewandowski, as long as he doesn't have to run the channels and do all that, it's not a problem.
Still quality.
Because that instinct will never go away, that movement. He only has to move. you know, with Stevie played with Ian Rush and all these other players who just came alive in the box. That's what they thrived on. And Lewandowski's always been like that. And as the years go by, Hansi Flick isn't expecting them to close the ball down as much, to run the channel, to drop deep. Just make sure you're there in the right place at the right time, getting on the end of it. I mean, you look at the goal, the penalty was the penalty. That was just getting in the right place, and the set piece was just getting in front of your defender. And it was a goal from nothing, really. His third goal of the hat-trick was a goal from absolutely nothing. The corner comes in. He shouldn't really score from where he is. So, yeah, that's a huge bonus for them. But again, they will score goals. That's not something where I don't think we're going to ever have to concern ourselves about. Oh, Barcelona are struggling to create chances and score. We know where the discussion is going. But at least they've given themselves 3 points today on a game against a side who had 5 straight wins. They're away from home. It was a chaotic game for most part. It could have gone anyway, particularly in the first half. But they've picked up the 3 points. They can brush themselves down and then wait on the international break getting over. But the big decision in the end there was Frankie de Jong getting sent off, which I think we all agree was pretty harsh.
It's a big point for them, and definitely points dropped for Real Madrid as Barcelona closed in on them. Luis Garcia, let's come to you first for this one now, because the second straight game in a row that we're not seeing any goals from Real Madrid.
Yeah, and that's strange. Today, I was expecting something like that. Rayo Vallecano is a very tough team to play against, and much more when they play at home. They can manage the ball, they have the possession, and they are very quick on counter-attack with the wide players. And but when you got Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, and you Bellingham on the field, you know that you can expect goals. But today, I didn't see the intensity that is needed to play against Rayo Vallecano. I didn't see the urgency. I didn't need the desire to make something different. It was only Vinicius Junior at some point. Not much from Mbappe. Jude Bellingham was on and off also on the field. Brahim Diaz that had an opportunity on the right side didn't come off or try to show something. So in the end, I think it was a poor performance, and that's why all people has been talking and the concerns with Xavi Alonso and the way he's been making play this Real Madrid side. It's a team that normally delivers goals. They got the top scorer of La Liga with Kylian Mbappe, and today they didn't even create clear chances. We saw the highlights. Not many that we could say that they could have a big one. Only Vinicius Junior won in the first 45, but that's about it. And again, we are talking that the consistency is needed in this competition. That's why the top 4, they are getting closer and closer. So we got league for the coming months.
That's a bad sign, isn't it? You know, when you play, generally when you play in oops.
Oh,
that's the screen gone.
There's a very expensive
That's the screen gone.
Generally, when you play in Europe midweek and you have a bad result and a bad performance, the only thing you expect as a coach is to see some sort of rebound. And for Real Madrid to come out and perform the way they did, that's a bad sign for the future, because it's just not normal, particularly supposedly good sides. You can understand that if you have a great performance during the week at Liverpool, you win 2 or 3-0, everybody's on a high, and then you have to come down to Rayo Vallecano. You can sort of understand that, but the other way around, no, that's not acceptable.
I think it kind of tells you where they are, in a sense, even though they won the Clásico. The way they played at Anfield, you know, okay, Liverpool had beaten Villa, and I know we're going to get to Liverpool, but we just saw them being absolutely spanked today. And the fact that they were able to tear Real Madrid to shreds for bulk of that game, and Thibaut Courtois kept them in it, I think maybe tells you where they are. Now, I've seen a lot of these games with Barca and Real and Atleti against Rayo Vallecano away, and they're a tough team to play against because Inigo Perez I think he's a terrific young manager. They play with pace, they play with intensity, they get forward. They are not frightened of anybody, and when you go there for an away game, you better be up for it and ready for it. And I kind of felt Real Madrid were a little bit on their heels today. To be frank with you, it was kind of half-hearted, but I think it is where they are. But again, I think to be honest with you, when you look at smaller clubs and smaller budgets, I think what Rayo Vallecano, and I know they're not the story, but I think this is the problem for Real Madrid. When you go to teams like this, what they are doing and their manager is doing with what they have is probably and arguably as good as anybody else in La Liga. So you need to make sure you're on your toes. and I don't think Real Madrid were today. It was pretty average, pretty pedestrian, and I think it was absolutely about as much as they could have got.
All right, well, a couple of things for Xabi Alonso to think about for the international break. But Luis Garcia, you've got a little bit of a break now since it is the international break. You're never in one
Where's
place
he going?
too long. That's what I was going to ask. Where are
Singapore,
you going now? Thailand, Hong Kong,
India.
Rwanda, India.
I'm going to go back to Malaysia, guys. Yes.
Oh, he's gone to that dodgy hotel room again.
Oh.
Yeah.